Hi, this is Sue Jackson of the Book by Book blog, and I'm here with another Friday Reads, my weekly update on what I've been reading. Today I'm going to give you just a quick update on what I just finished, as well as what I'm currently reading or about to start. So first up, I have just finished Parnassus on Wheels. That's not a very interesting book to look at. As you can see, it's a very old book. It was published in 1917. There's a closer look. I read this as part of a read-along with the Book Cougars podcast. If you haven't discovered their podcast before, I highly recommend it. It's two friends of mine that do it, people that I've met that also go to Booktopia, that event in Vermont that I go to every May, and that you can go to too. Chris and Emily have a wonderful podcast. They do quarterly read-alongs. This year their theme is books about books. So their first choice was Parnassus on Wheels by Christopher Morley. And I thoroughly enjoyed this book. It's a very short little novel. I finished it pretty quickly. In a previous video, when I was talking about my March reading plans, I kept saying over and over that this was a mystery, that all I knew about it was that it was a classic mystery. Well, it's not a mystery. It has nothing, there's no mystery. None at all. I don't know where I got that idea. It is a classic, however, and it is about books, and it was just a delightful read. So the Parnassus of the title, and I had to, this made me go and look up what Parnassus is, what it refers to, because I know that Ann Patchett, the author, has a bookstore in Nashville called Parnassus, and now this is called Parnassus on Wheels, because it's kind of about like an early bookmobile. So I went and looked up, what does Parnassus actually mean? It's from Greek mythology. It's supposed to be like the mountain where all of the art comes from, music and literature and art. So that's what Parnassus means. So I learned something new. This book is about a 39-year-old woman named Helen McGill. She lives in Connecticut with her brother in the farmhouse that they've lived all their lives. She has spent her whole life, her whole adult life, taking care of her brother. He is a semi-famous, at least regionally famous author. So he's always going off on trips, adventures as she calls them, doing research for his next book, going on book tours, things like that. And she's stuck at home. As she says here, she figures she's baked about 6,000 loaves of bread while he's been wandering around. So one day, a very unusual horse and cart come into the yard. So the driver is a man named Roger Mifflin. The sides of this cart go up to reveal shelves and shelves of books on both sides. And then the inside, in between the shelves of books, is a cozy little living space, little camper. And he calls it his Parnassus on Wheels. So Roger goes around, touring all around the area, stopping at farmhouses and in towns and selling books. And he is passionate about books, and not high and mighty literature, but good books that regular people can enjoy. He's passionate about bringing books to people. So he has come to the farm because he's ready to give up the Parnassus and go live with his brother in Brooklyn for a while and work on a book of his own. And he's looking to sell the Parnassus. And he figures, since her brother's an author, everyone in the region knows about him, you know, he must love books, and he thinks maybe he'll want to buy it. Well, Helen takes one look at this thing, and she decides to buy it herself. And that's what the book's about. It's about Helen on the spur of the moment, having never done anything surprising in her life, decides to buy the Parnassus on wheels and head out on an adventure of her own, bringing books to people all over. As I said, it's just a delightful book. I thoroughly enjoyed it. There is no mystery in it, but that doesn't matter. It's a wonderful book. And it is actually a very plot-driven book. There's no mystery, but it is, there's an exciting plot with lots of things happen, action, adventure, etc. I really enjoyed Parnassus on Wheels by Christopher Morley. I am currently reading Book 6 in the Anne Kinnear series by Maddie Dalrymple. Are you getting sick of hearing me talk about this series yet? As I've said many times before, I don't normally read series, but I love this one, and Book 6 just came out. These are novels about, this is the first one, The Sense of Death. These are novels about a woman who can sense spirits, and so she solves mysteries by talking to ghosts. Her services are for sale, so very often, people might hire her to talk to a loved one that's died recently. Sometimes, as in this first book, the police call on her expertise. Other times, she sort of falls into a mystery. So Book 1 is The Sense of Death. Book 2, The Sense of Reckoning. Book 3, which my husband just finished, The Falcon and the Owl. He likes this series too. Book 4 that I read last fall was A Furnace for Your Foe. Book 5 that I just read last month was A Serpent's Tooth. So I am currently reading Book 6, Be with the Dead. All of her titles are taken from Shakespeare, which is kind of cool. So these are mysteries with a supernatural twist. But what I really love, and the reason why I enjoy these when I don't normally read series, is that Maddie's an excellent writer. Her characters are fully developed. She has a real talent for making settings come alive. This one, you can see the sand on the cover, takes place in Ocean City, Maryland, which is not too far from us. And her mysteries are great too, twisty and unexpected. There are always a lot of surprises. And in this book, number 6, it is all about writers and novels and writing and editing and publishing. So that is really fun so far. I'm loving that. So far, really enjoying the latest Anne Kinnear mystery, Be with the Dead, by Maddie Dalrymple. I just yesterday finished my first audiobook for middle grade March, and that was Concealed by Cristina Diaz-Gonzalez. I really enjoyed this. It was just as good as I expected it to be. It won the Edgar Award, I think last year, for Best Juvenile Mystery, and it was excellent. It's about a 12-year-old girl named Katrina who is in witness protection with her parents. So in the last 3 years, they have traveled all over the place, starting over again and again, usually in big cities where they can kind of blend in and get lost. All Christina really knows is that there's a dangerous drug cartel after them. She doesn't actually remember anything from before this part of their lives. She had a terrible accident. Her parents say she almost died, and she doesn't remember anything from before that. That seemed to have been the turning point in their lives. So as the book opens, Christina and her parents are trying something different. They've moved to a small town in Georgia with an RV and are living in a trailer in an RV park. And while this is not their normal mode of staying safe, her parents are recognizing that she's getting older. She needs more independence. She needs to be able to make a friend once in a while. They've been homeschooling her out of safety. And they just think in this smaller rural environment, she might have a chance to make a friend and gain some independence. And she does at the start of the book. There's a boy living in the trailer next door, whose name is Parker, and they get along really well, and she makes her first friend. So things are going pretty well, and then they aren't. I won't give any spoilers. This book is action-packed and super twisty. There are so many surprises in store. I won't even hint at it because that's part of the pleasure of this book is, discovering it as the plot unravels. It is very original, suspenseful. I thought that the characters were really well drawn, very realistic, good dialogue. I enjoyed listening to it on audio. And there are a lot of surprises there. So that is Concealed by Christina Diaz-Gonzalez. So since I just finished that, I haven't had a chance to start a new middle grade book yet, but I have one picked out as I discussed in my March reading plans video. This is another one for middle grade March. I should mention Concealed counted for both middle grade March and March Mystery Madness. And the Ann Kinnear book I'm reading, Be With the Dead, also, of course, counts for March Mystery Madness. Parnassus on Wheels does not. I'm still laughing that I got that so wrong. Anyway, my next audiobook that I'm going to start today is called Can You See Me by Libby Scott and Rebecca Westcott. This is also for middle grade March, and it fits one of their prompts because it's a coming-of-age story about an autistic girl. And one of the prompts for middle grade March is a neurodiverse character. So this fits perfectly. Concealed also fit into the prompts for middle grade March because it was an award winner, having won that Edgar Award. So that's what I'm reading this weekend. I would love to hear what you're reading. Let me know in the comments down below.